I'm happy. I'm really happy. You want to know why I'm happy? Because that was one of the best episodes of Samurai Jack ever. That was probably one of my favorite episodes so far. Maybe even my favorite out of all the episodes. This episode just had me jumping all around, smiling, and just going like, just because of how great it was. I just loved it from the beginning to the end because there was nothing to hate about it. Every scene in it was great. I loved just every bit of it. Every moment just had me wondering what's going to happen next, and just had a bunch of shocking moments. It was really good. So it started out with this little flashback where Jack was searching around and he was in his old clothes and had a sword, and I'm still trying to get used to his old design, but in this new animation. It looks really weird. I'm trying to get used to it, but it's going to take some time. So he's looking around, and then he sees this little baby goat, and he's asking for directions for it and see if they can find a time portal. And the Ghost Supreme is just like, go with me. So they go, three of them go and take up to the top of the mountain, and what do you know? There's a time portal. Who knew? So Jack just doesn't take any time of it, and he runs in it. He jumps in it. I'm like, he made it! He actually got in it! Holy crap! But then Aku had to be a complete dick and stick his hand in there and take him out. I was like, no, you didn't just do that. He was so close. And then Aku had to go and mess it up. I'm really starting to hate him. He was so close. So he takes him out, and then he goes and destroys the portal. And I'm like, now what? Because he says he pretty much destroyed all the portals, and there's no way back. So Jack gets all pissed off. I don't blame him, and he tries to go and defeat Aku, but he's just pretty much like, no way. So he goes and makes the goats into these giant monsters, which Jack has to go and defeat. And after he does, they turn back into their little goat forms, and they're just like all dead and have their eyelashes. I'm like, no, did they really have to turn them back to their original forms? That was just sad to see. So after that scene, the sword is laying by this big giant hole which wants the portal, and goes and falls in there, which is where it went in the first place. So Jack tells Ashi that he doesn't know where it is, and he hasn't seen it since. So they travel into the hole on this giant bird, and then they keep going in there. It's really deep. It takes them like a day to go in there. So after they go in there, Jack can't find it, and he's wondering where it is. And after Ashi suggests that someone may have found it, he says, no, the sword left me. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty big. So they go and leave it, and Jack is pretty much just saying he doesn't know how long it's going to take, and he decides to go in and try to meditate to find it. So Ashi then pretty much goes up to the other side of the mountain and just waits for him. But as that is happening, all these guys come up to try to go and kill him. So then we get these two scenes kind of coming together. So as Ashi is trying to go and defeat these guys, Jack is going into his little meditation thing, and it goes on into this weird little place, but it looks really nice. It looks beautiful. It's first all these just these green hills, and then he finds this rat and goes on it, and then he's up in the sky, then he's back down there. It's kind of weird, but I really liked it. So he then finds this one guy, and he says, "You want to make some tea?" And he's like, "Sure." So he goes in there and he starts making tea. And as this goes on, he keeps switching to the scene where Ashi is just kicking these guys' asses. Because when it first started, they're just laughing it off, and then she goes and takes one of the guys and just barrels through him and gets rid of all the people on the mountain like they're freaking bowling pins or something. It's just intense. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you don't want to mess with her. She was pissed. So then she's going and defeating all these guys, knocking arrows into them and punching them to death. She had blood all over her. It was just really, really big. I couldn't believe it. You don't want to mess with Ashi, but she was just tearing these guys apart like they were freaking nothing. I mean, there were hundreds of them, but it was no problem for her. She took care of them, no problem. So after she does all this, she sees that one person seems to have gotten past her. She calls the bird back and goes on the mountain and saves an arrow from getting into Jack. So it then shows the person in the background, and it turns out to be Ashi's mother. I'm like, no way! What is going to happen now? What is she going to do? So she starts talking about how Ashi has failed her and failed her sisters, how she killed her sisters, but then Ashi tells her that Jack showed her the truth, and then her mother pretty much only bred her just so she could die, and that was true. She's a terrible mother. All she wants to do is get Jack killed. That's the only reason these girls were born. The only thing they were supposed to do their whole lives, and now 6 of them are dead because of it. She's a terrible person. So they go on and fight each other by just taking a bunch of things and trying to kill each other. But at one point she tries to go and kill Jack while Ashi is down, but then she goes and takes an arrow and just goes and right through her and impales her, and then falls down the mountain. So like, yes! So Ashi had to go and kill her own mother just so she could save Jack, but it had to be done. There was no other thing she could do. So after that, she goes and collapses unconscious. After that, we go back to the weird guy and Jack, and they're drinking tea, and Jack pretty much just asks him, where's the sword? And he says, that is not my concern. It is your destiny. You need to find balance. And then Jack's little, other self shows up where he's just like, what the hell? What are you talking about? And he's all pissed off, yelling in the old guy's face, and Jack's like, no, we need to find balance. He is right. And the other Jack is just getting really pissed off and hits the regular Jack, and Jack's like, no, you're wrong. Then his eyes glow and destroys the guy. Then we go back into his mind or something, and then he sees the 3 gods or something. I forgot what they were from the old episodes, and they're like, you have found balance. And then they go and give these glowing things on Jack, and then his old clothes show up, his ponytail, and they give him his sword, and then his long hair and his beard go away too. I'm like, yes! Just seeing this, I was just like this the whole time, just seeing it. The old Jack is back. He's ready to go and defeat Aku once and for all. He is back, finally, ready to go back in time. So he wakes up and he sees Ashi is unconscious and goes and wakes her up. And Ashi is like, Jack? You got a haircut. You got new clothes. And he's like, yeah. I love the relationship between these two. It's just great. I do know there are some people who want them to be a father-daughter relationship, but I want them to be a romantic relationship. I mean, if you do like the other way around, you can have it that way, but I personally want it the romantic way. And I'm hoping it will go that way, even though it's probably not going to. So Ashi asks, what is next? And Jack's like, it's finally time to defeat Aku. And it ends right there. Whew. It was just a really good episode. Just every moment, every second of it was really good. Just had me smiling. And I can't wait for the next episode. The next episode seems to be where Jack and Ashi are in this city or something and they're lost, I think. They didn't really explain it that well, but it still looks good. But it just looks kind of confusing from what the trailer showed. So with that, there are 3 episodes left. We're getting to the very end, and Aku, I really hope he gets destroyed for going and taking Jack out of the portal when he was so close. He deserves it. And I kind of wonder when the Scotsman and his daughters are going to return. There are 3 episodes left, so they're probably going to return pretty shortly. And we still don't really know if the mother is dead yet. I mean, she could have survived that. And I think she most likely did. She might maybe turn out in the last episode and work with Baku or something, but she might be alive. We still haven't got the confirmation yet if the two sisters that Jack didn't go and stick a knife into are dead yet, but they haven't appeared since, so it is kind of looking like they are dead. So, this was a great episode. I think my favorite so far, and I'm getting really excited for the end. Just a few more weeks left, so here's just to the last few episodes.